Well, hello, it's Senior Mike again. Probably my last video on the EV, BMW i4 electric car. So today I'm just going to talk about my likes and dislikes of the car, both as an EV or EV type things, and also just straight what I like and dislike about the car. So let's get on with it. I might be referring to a few notes, but well, just starting with the car itself, love the car. First thing off, love the car. I've owned 5 different BMWs over 20 years. Absolutely my favorite one. The last car that I had was a 2015, actually. There it is right there, convertible 235, which is going to get sold to pay for this one. But anyway, yeah, that's a 2016 actually. So some of the issues that I'm going to be talking about that I like or dislike are because it's a brand new car too, a lot of new technology. And also, of course, the EV. So I kind of actually was very impressed with the styling. Very difficult to buy an EV because you can't see them in the showroom. So I only saw the i4 EV for a few minutes because somebody had one in the show in for delivery. So I saw it for 5 minutes. So I was kind of waiting for 6 months for the car, worrying about what it were really going to look like. And no, but I love the styling. Sorry, the car's a little dirty here, but even the grille is growing on me. So as you all know, the EV car is no different than the regular BMW i4. What people like to say is a Tesla is an electric car. The i4 is a car that's electric. So yeah, it looks exactly like the regular car. So I love the styling. I like the lines of the car itself. You know, the front grille actually looks pretty aggressive. I was a little worried about what kind of wheels I was going to get because I think the European ones have some funny looking flat wheels to help with air flow or air resistance. But these ones that I got, they're standard by the way, was pretty good. I like them a lot actually. They got a little bit of a wide brim there I think for airflow, but I like them very much. You know, and just again the styling, let me get back up a little bit. The styling I just love. Nice lines. The trunk itself is unbelievable. Let me just open it up here, see if I can get the foot. One of my dislikes, I guess, is the foot opening is not always that easy to use. But the actual trunk itself is huge. I can get 2 golf clubs laterally in this trunk. See, because of the big spaces on each side. I think BMW, I don't know if there's somebody that loves golf, but many BMWs have that wide back so you can actually get a set of golf clubs in there. That's actually fairly important for most people. As you can see, I got the reddish or burgundy interior, not leather seats, but just the whatever they call their fake leather. Let me put this down again for a second. So yeah, this is, as you can see, this is the i35 drive model. So I love the styling at the back. The diffuser looks pretty cool, even though it looks like it should have exhaust pipes in there, but basically that's a diffuser. It helps with aerodynamics. So exterior, like the rear lights are pretty cool looking. Anyway, in general, I really like the car. Styling on the outside, I guess. So while I'm outside, maybe I'll say something about one of my dislikes. I find it a little bit difficult to get into the BMW. I'm a pretty large guy and I'm an older guy. So when the door is not quite wide open, which is like that is wide, when the door is, let's say like that, maybe that's a little too abrupt, but when you're in a parking spot, you know, you can't always open the door fully. That's pretty full right there, I guess. But when the door is like this, pretty tough to get in to the car because it seems to have a fairly high step in there. I'll put my hand in here. The level between here and here is quite high on the front, And in the back, unlock the doors here. In the back, it's even worse. The doors open very wide, but to get in, that lip to get in and mostly out, I guess is a better way of saying it. That's a fairly deep. That's almost 4 inches there. That makes it very difficult to get your feet in and out of, especially if you're not as flexible as I am. So it's a little bit, the back door opening is is even a little bit more harder to get in. I think the best way to do it is put butt first and feet second is the way I tell people to get in. Once you're in the car, it's very roomy, but it just seems to be getting in and out is a bit tough. And of course, with the standard bolstered seats, it makes it even a little bit tougher. So not bad when the door can be wide open, but as soon as just close it one tick or two, that's typically what you'd have to do to when you're in a tight parking space. A little bit tough to get in, but butt first and feet second seems to work. Well, getting into the car for the rest of it now, hopefully this sounds a bit better. I don't have the road noise in my front yard. Yeah, so in general, first let's just do, I'll split this into two kinds of a review, if you want to call it that. What I like and dislike in terms of the EV features and whatnot of the car. And then secondly, we'll do the car itself, regardless of whether it's an EV or not. Because again, I'll repeat, this is a car that's electric, not an electric car. So I'm going to refer to my notes here too. Number one thing I love about the car is power. Unbelievable power. It feels like the fastest BMW I've ever owned, and I've owned some fairly significantly powered BMWs, but just the smoothness of the acceleration and the pinning you to the back of the seat part of the acceleration is amazing, even though I think technically I've had faster cars, but it's just so instantaneous and away you go. And even at higher speeds, when you hit the throttle, it just instantaneously gives you that thrust of power. So it just feels like such a fast vehicle. What EV wise, I love the fact that on an EV you do have to engage yourself with the car quite a bit. I mean, you got to worry about you got to be aware of the charge of the battery. You got to understand your vehicle a little bit better from an EV point of view, and so you have to learn a lot of stuff. And that's to me, that was a lot of fun. Just engages you with a car. You feel a bit like right now you're feeling a little bit like an innovator because not that many people have them, but that part is actually pretty fun because you do have to engage with the car a lot more because you got to make sure you're charged and especially when you're planning a long trip, you have to plan it a little bit. So it's that to me was fun. Of course, the cost in terms of cost of electricity at home, especially charging it up. I have a 240 watt volt charger, so to me, charging from 0 almost to 80 is only like 4 or 5 hours. So that's very doable overnight. So that's a lot of fun actually, and the fact that you're saving money, saving the environment, is just a bonus. So the next thing I love a lot about the EV technology part is the one pedal braking. So much fun. It took me only a few minutes to learn it and get engaged with it. And it's almost like every time you stop, you've got a little competition with yourself. Can you modulate the throttle and get a perfect stop, like Jerry Seinfeld says, a perfect pour on the gas pump when you stop it right at $10 exactly without going over or under. But you do the same thing with the one pedal braking to see if you can get it to complete stop without having to push the throttle a little bit to go a little bit further. So it's a lot of fun, and the fact that you're saving your brakes is even more fun. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. Even handling, going around corners and merging and whatnot, I find it's very gentle deceleration. So it's very cool to use that one pedal braking. So I encourage you, especially since engaging it, a BMW with its shifter. Is how you engage and disengage that mode. So if you want to leave it in driving mode, which is a little bit more of a traditional, where you Don't have to, you have to hold the brake to get it to stop. To put it into one pedal mode, you just pull the shifter all over to the side. So it's in and out of that mode whenever you like, as opposed to a menu item. Next thing that's pretty cool, or I like a lot, is the integration of the electric vehicle stuff with the i8 interface. Lots of information on the EV state of charge, how much battery power you're using at the time, all sorts of information available on the dial. Let me just flip the screen around here, and I'll show you a couple of things that I really like. Yes, even with the car in off mode, this is off. It's not ready to drive. You've got your power, you got state of charge, you've got your values since last charging that's up there. I usually leave that as my dashboard so that I can monitor my driving habit and see how much power I'm using. Your range is there, all that kind of stuff. So even your state of charge, charging setup. So I've set it for 80% with 48 amps, etc., etc. So that's pretty cool. And the BMW brick that comes with the cable, very nice cable, by the way, very thick. I understand that's important, the fact that it's heavy duty, and the little box that comes onto the cable. It's a very long cable. I believe it's 13 feet. So it's longer than most. And the brick itself gives you some indication of its state, even ready to go, or supplying electricity to the car. So that's really good. I love that part. And I only use that. I do not have you're looking over there, that's where I have my, in the garage over there, I have it installed. I do not use a wall charger. I use that only, I use the brick that comes with the car. I mount it on the wall, and I only take it down when I'm going on a long trip. So, very cool. Which brings me to range. For around town and everyday driving, amazing range. 400 kilometers for 100%, but 80% is about 350 normally for around town. That's plenty for any type of commuting that I have to do. I'm not a daily commuter, but the kind of driving that I do around town, it's amazing. It's great. I only charge it up every second or third day, maybe even 4 days. So that's very, I don't have to worry about it, anything at all. I usually wait until I'm below 20% before I plug it in. So no complaints on the charging for around town commuting. So talking about EV dislikes, EV features dislikes, no frunk. So I was at an EV event a couple of days ago with a bunch of people that have EVs just getting together for a show and shine. And that's the first thing everybody mentioned. What? There's no frunk? That doesn't bother me at all. I mean, there is some space there. They could have put one. I got over that real fast. I mean, to have an extra 2 feet of space that I could put a couple of books and a briefcase in, or a lunch, that's no big deal. I mean, the BMW frunk and the frunk on an F-150 Lightning are huge, but that's not going to happen in this car, and it doesn't bother me whatsoever. With the size of the trunk on this thing, I don't miss it a bit, but it does bother some people that there's no front trunk. Range, I said it was a great range for around town. It's a little, on a long trip, I've only done a couple of long trips, but a 400 kilometer maximum range is a little short for long trips, I think. I would have preferred around 600. It's not terrible, but it's a little inconvenient to be charging up that often. And here in Alberta, with the sparsity of non-Tesla chargers around, it's a little bit, there's some planning involved. So 600 kilometer range would be a lot better for a car. I think it'd be no worries there, but 400, you have to plan things a little bit more. Navigation, the database for navigation for charging stations sucks for Alberta here anyway. I'm sure it's better in other places, but for Alberta, it's not great. And that is a big issue in the sense that trip planning in the navigation is a lot tougher if the database isn't up to date. So we'll get into that more a little bit more. That's not really an EV thing. It's a kind of combination EV and regular car thing. What else do I talk about? Oh yes, the range meter, the range AI, or a range calculation, is another complaint, I guess, a dislike. I mean, BMW form people call it a guessometer. Now I'm still on the cusp here. I'm not sure if it's good or bad. I've been doing a lot of calculations, and you notice that a little bit in my other videos. I've been doing some investigation on driving around town, and it's a lot less problematic for around town. I think it's still pessimistic. My jury's out to be how far it's pessimistic. I'm going to take a guess here. It's about a 10% pessimism rate. Obviously, it gets better as the charge goes down, but I'm still on the fence here whether that's a like or a dislike. I think the last thing on my dislikes about EV is battery preconditioning. It's a bit of a mystery in terms of the user manual, what that's all about. The user manual in general is okay, but not great. I mean, in new cars, it's pretty hard to write a user manual because there's so much stuff you really do have to kind of learn as you go. But I think I might be the only person in the forums that was able to find an icon that shows whether the battery is being preconditioned or not, and it's not mentioned in any of the manuals. So whether or not you're preconditioning the battery, what cases, what you have to, when you have to do that is a little bit of a mystery in terms of BMW information. So they got to explain that a lot better. So the second part of this is about likes and dislikes about the car in general. Since it's just a regular i4, those are nothing to do with the EV technology. So the likes, again, love the car. It's by far my most favorite BMW that I've ever owned. Interior, it feels a lot bigger than it looks in the interior itself. Sitting in the front two seats, back seats are, hey, what car has a great back seat? It's okay. It's almost close enough that you would not be that worried about taking a long trip and sitting in the back seat. And of course, the overall size of the trunk is amazing. We already talked about that a little bit earlier. Love the interior styling. I won't use the camera for all this, but I just love the interior styling. Amazing. I mean, again, the last BMW I owned was a 2016. So by far the second most beautiful, or the thing I love the most is the widescreen. I'm not gonna show it. You guys can see it yourselves when you look at videos of this car. But that wide 22 or 25-inch screen just wows everybody, and the i8 interface is amazing too. I just love it. Being a BMW owner, a lot of the features, or a lot of the car features, are familiar to me. That's good. They kept most of the things that I'm used to, so it's very easy to get used to stuff. They took a lot of buttons away, so that's the next thing that I like a lot. The voice commands and the voice recognition is superbly improved from 2015 for sure, but very rarely does the voice command AI not know what you're saying. So don't even have to train it. In the old days, you had to train it. Not anymore, and it does very well for both myself and my wife. So that's a big like. The BMW home navigation is great. Much improved over my previous experiences and experiences with other cars, especially in terms of understanding voice destinations, voice commands in the nav. It's great. I use the BMW navigation quite often. That second thing is, of course, I could use the other navigations like Waze and Google Maps, because it has Android Auto. The Android Auto integration so far with my experience has been great also. And their navigation systems are good. And but now the BMW navigation is as very, very usable, and I use it interplay between the two, or I jump between the two without any hesitation. I'll use both as opposed to one over the other. They're all great. The last thing I'll mention about likes is I've never had the My BMW app before, the mobile app that goes with your car. Just love it. It was a little bit difficult to get it set up originally. I think the dealership set it up a little wrong, and but I was able to get it going myself a little bit later. Love it. Great to be able to see, especially because it's an EV, to be able to see your state of charge for mobile. It warns you when you're finished charging. All those things, EV-wise integration is seamless, and to be able to precondition the car, the cabin, from a remotely is great. Be able to see the charging history. These are probably EV likes that I should have said in EV. So I'm very, very happy with the mobile app that comes with the car, and its EV integration is spectacular. One of the things also in terms of a dislike is disengaging the cruise control with the brake. Seems very abrupt to me, and I'm not sure if it's because of the EV braking, the EV regenerative braking is the issue, or if it's just touchy. But to disengage the EV, the cruise control with the brake, you have to touch it hard enough that you really have to brake hard, or it jerks you to take it off. And I can't do it normally like my old cars. I even talked to the dealership, and I seem to remember that they could fix the sensitivity of the brake in terms of disengaging the cruise control, but they told me that they couldn't. I'm going to try again with them, but the only way I've found to do it reasonably is to quickly but firmly do a tap on the brake, just enough so that it doesn't actually break the car, and that disengages the cruise control. But I've gotten to the point of using the cancel and resume function on the cruise control more than using the brake. And that becomes a little bit of a safety issue if you wait too long to do it. And I'll turn the camera around here and show you the buttons. So this was one thing I didn't like at first. I'm sort of getting used to it, but because of the disengaging the cruise control, I use these buttons a lot. These two, resume and cancel. And I kind of would have liked them in the opposite order, to use the cancel right here, because it's easier to find without looking down. And at first I said to myself, it'd be nice if they had a bigger distinction between the two so that you can tell which button you're hitting. And there is a little bit of a raised piece of plastic here that you can tell the difference between the two. Kind of where this is the midpoint. It's on all these buttons. It's between each button there's a bit of a raised thing. So you can actually do that, but I still find myself searching for it sometimes, and I think that is something. Maybe even the cancel down here would have been better than up here. It's just seems a little bit difficult ergonomically to find that, and because of the issue with having to hit the brake too hard, I find I'm using that a lot more. It's become a safety issue a little bit once in a while. So one last review of the interior of the car. Thanks very much for listening to all my talking about this car and my experience with EVs. Well, this was probably going to be the last video that I do. I'm moving on to another series about owning a solar for the first time. So you can look for that on eSeniors also. So a little last review of the interior of the car here. And I hope you guys enjoyed my musings and my jabbering on about this car and my experience with it. It's certainly been fun to do, and I hope that it was informative. If anybody wants to know more about this car, just tell me via an email in eSenior, not eSenior, Senior Mike 138. So bye for now, and keep watching my videos. There'll be a lot more of them about things that my stuff, as I called it.